What's up and welcome to Champions of Lore, the show about all the kick-ass stories behind some Idle Champions' coolest campaigns and characters. Every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CNE Games, or later on your favorite podcast service. B. Dave Walters and Erin Evans talk about all the Idle Champions lore that's fun to know about. If you're with us live in the chat, you can leave a question that I, Treavor Bettis, will ask them later in the show. But until then, Erin, B. Dave, take it away.
Hi, I'm Erin Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels Saga 6-book series set in the Forgotten Realms, featuring 3 of your favorite Idle Champions, Frida, Havilar, and Mehen. I am also a content designer for Idle Champions. I play Cecilia on Dungeon Scrawlers, and I played Havilar in Idle Champions Presents The Black Pits.
Yeah.
Yay. B. Dave Walters, I say words about things. You can find me all over the interwebs. However, fine streaming content can be located and occasionally on television as well. Also going to be all up in Comic-Con, and we have Legends of the Multiverse live game Friday at 10 a.m. So if you're going to be at Comic-Con, come check us out. I forget where. It's in a hotel or something.
It's in a location in San Diego somewhere. Good luck.
I gave you the temporal location and the details. You know what I mean? Like, you meet me halfway. Meet me halfway here. Yeah, and I also was lucky to be a part of the Black Pits.
Yes.
I am impressed you wore the shirt. I just completely forgot.
But we were there last week. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I'm just doing a victory lap with the Black Pit shirt. Because I sent us these fantastic shirts, and then the story's over, and it's like, no, I just have a shirt. So, get one more.
So Idle Champions Presents The Black Pits happened last week. In fact, I think our last episode was directly after episode 1. It wouldn't be an Idle Champions Presents if we didn't have some form of recap from Havilar about what happened in there. And so this is one of those recap episodes. What we got there, B-Dave?
I just want to say, and I told Erin this before we started, not only are the Havilar recaps truly my favorite part of all of these things,
1000%.
In the games I've run, I've done things on purpose expressly to see how Havilar was going to describe it later. Very consciously and intentionally did it that way. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so what happened? I guess I should say here at the top of the show, there will be spoilers here, but also I think you'll be fine if you want to stick around and see the Havilar recap. The videos are slowly going up on YouTube. In fact, actually, as Erin says that, I'm gonna make sure that the third one went live.
Make sure it's actually available.
But it's happening now. Should you put it up now or put it up at the bottom of the hour? But yes, put it up now so you don't forget. Put it up now so you don't forget.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
And obviously this one, we have an available chime in from Freely.
It's true.
Well, I'm just here for you, really. I'm a backup singer. I consider me a doo-wop. You know, I'm just.
That's fair. At least I will do something this time. So, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I don't really want to recap this one. I know it's like a thing I do, but like, the last adventure kind of gave me like an existential crisis.
Uh-oh.
Because I realized that I wasn't like the badass adventure hero. I was the treasure. I was like the princess in the tower. And that is not what I want me to be. But at first, I was like, fine, it's once, it happens. But then I realized this is like the 4th time that's happened to me. Which really threw me.
All right, wait, no, hang on a second. Now, first of all, I've been saved like lots of times by my friends, and I wasn't there for the whole rigmarole with the Raven Queen. But I heard you were incredible, and you had like a flaming axe, and you like riding in, and you like, you know.
Yeah, but I was like not the main character, like in my life in that.
Oh, and, yeah, I know how that feels.
And Frida was like, Freely, she's like, no, you do heroic things, and there's so much more to you than fighting monsters. But guys, I think that they are just trying to soften the fact that they are more heroic than me, maybe. And then Mehen was like, stop belly aching and go do some drills, and that did not help. But then Baloth showed up, and he was like, I'm planning a spectacle of slaughter, and I'm inviting all my friends. I want you to battle in the Black Pit. And I was like, Wait, don't you always say that people who fight in the black pits are suckers that lay their safety on the altar of your prophet? And he was like, this is different.
He told me it'd be different too. It was not different.
It was not, guys. It was not different. Freely, have you been to the black pits before? Have you watched it?
No, because every time he was like, you should come, he immediately was like, here's a contract. And then like somebody smarter than me would drag me away. Like Penelope or Erin would be like, you should not do that. And then it was the first time I was left unattended. And then he mentioned charity. And then you saw this is what transpired.
The charity is a good point, because that was the next thing. Bailoff was like, you need to choose a charity to give money to. And I was like, what's a charity? And he was like, charity is a group of people that take money and they give it to a good cause in order to help people look good and sometimes commit tax fraud. And apparently it's very good for getting people into the seats. So I thought hard about what would be a good cause to give money to. And what I thought of was glaives for orphans, because glaives are the best weapons, and orphans need people to watch out for them, and every kid needs a blade. Figure even if the name is blades, we could give them like daggers and short swords too, because those are really better for like a 5 or 6 year old in my experience. The glaive's too long.
I must admit, I had to change my position because I was fighting for the Sword Coast big old fuzzy boy. Something happened.
No, you're fine.
Okay, sorry, something else happened over here. Sorry, just like this screen just went blank. I'm like, the Sword Coast big old fuzzy boy foundation, because I'm a friend of the fuzzy boys everywhere. And but glaives for orphans, I feel like might actually have a more meaningful impact. Maybe we could split the donation.
Maybe we could also bring the fluffy boys to the orphans, and then they could have like an animal companion and a glaive.
And then they got a friend and a glaive. Those kids will be so much better off than we were.
It'll change so many lives.
100% in my head was like, oh, the orphans are the familiars.
I mean, I guess it depends on how smart the fluffy boys are, but in that case, you get a situation kind of like Minsk, which is a thing I should tell you about, because when it got to the Black Pits, it wasn't the only one. Bela got so many friends together. He got Freely there!
Yeah.
It was nice to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, again, sorry that I wasn't there. It was not a rescue mission to the Shadowfell. You were fine and very powerful, but sorry I couldn't be there. I was kind of on my honeymoon.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't come to your wedding. Did you get the fondue pot that I sent?
Yeah, I did. And apparently you didn't come to my wedding because, you were ensorcelled by the Raven Queen. So I feel
I was the princess in the tower. I know.
You were an apprentice. You were like a dark avenger. Like, it was great.
C&E's actually been trying to get the two of you in the same party for a while, but it seems like every time we try to put one of you in, the other one leaves, and then it's almost like you're taking up the same spot.
You're thinking of Farida.
Is it?
Yeah, no,
Farida and Freely stand in the same place.
This
twins. I get mixed up.
I've spent significant amounts of time with Havilar, actually. No, and yes, they look alike. They have completely different eyes, Treavor.
That is true. That is true.
Completely. Yeah. Also, I'm the pretty one. Everybody knows it.
That is true. She's very pretty. She's fearsome and also very pretty. Yes.
But it wasn't just us. It was also Briv Steelmarrow, who is a half-orc paladin that adventures with Freely. He makes metal come out of himself, and it's very cool. He's been a god somewhere, but a god without chicken wings, which is very disappointing. I haven't seen him since I lost that drinking contest to him. It was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, it was a little hazy on the details there. Pretty sure Briv's a whole orc. He's not a half orc. He's a whole orc.
Oh, my apologies. I thought I saw he was a half orc, but that must have been a mistake in the billing.
Have I been wrong this entire time?
You're gonna have to figure out a subtle way to ask this question.
Well, I'll look into the lore on that one while you tell the rest of it.
So anyway, Briv's charity was about saving griffins, but then he heard about Glaives for Orphans, and he is also on Team Glaives for Orphans.
How can you not be, really? Just how can you not be?
Maybe the orphans could have griffins too.
What? Griffins are fuzzy, and then
We're just
everybody's
gonna
happy.
combine all the charities. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So also there was Whittle. Whittle is a gnome dump here, but she's not a Loogie Roop anymore.
No.
But she is a Dark Lord, which doesn't seem good because she's like trapped in this place called Barovia. But now she's in the Black Pit, so it was kind of like a vacation. Her charity was the Barovian Blood Drive, and she was not raising money; she was collecting blood, off the floor at one point.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
I
feel
guess
that there's
she's
got to be
awesome.
like a lot of just sand and grit in that. I mean, that kind of like very, very hoppy.
No,
blood.
they got blood strainers.
That's fine.
Oh,
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Also, there was Minsk and Boo! Minsk
Yeah.
is a ranger barbarian from Rashomon, where I have never been. And Boo is his miniature giant space hamster. About half the time I see Minsk, he doesn't remember who I am, and I thought it was like a bit we were doing, but it's not. Minsk just has brain damage. He's very into fighting evil.
yeah. Boo is definitely the brains of the operation.
It's good he has Boo to keep him out of too much trouble.
Or
So
at
he
least-
likes... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I would just point him towards the trouble. You remember that thing about
That's
Tiamat with the
true.
dragons when he was like,
Dragon heads in less than 6 seconds?
yeah, that was
That will be one for the ages.
That is what we like to call a badass.
verifiably.
So his charity, I think, is about fighting evil. It was called the Rampaging Rashomons of the Realms. And Boo's charity was Giant Space Hamsters Unlimited. Also, Tatiana was there. Tatiana is an Agenasi barbarian and druid, who you might remember from our last adventure and from her and me being best friends. But I should clarify something. We are fighting best friends because Farida is my sister best friend, and that is special and important. And also Tatiana has a sister best friend too, which is Valentine, who is like a really intense half-elf. Tatiana is kind of adopted just like me. I thought it would be cool if Farida and Valentine would also be best fighting friends, or maybe just bad choices about magic friends.
Oh my god.
Then we could be best friend double dates. But they don't get along. That's okay though. Farida has other friends, and Valentine has like eldritch nightmares that she chills with. So it works out.
I haven't met this Valentine person, but based on what I have heard, I believe that is an accurate assessment. I don't know that she's in the market for besties. Except Tatiana has just sort of like occupied that space over time, like like when like a tree grows up over a structure and you're like, well, the tree and the structure are just the same thing now. It's kind of like that. But or hear me out though, then you have the foes to friends arc between Valentine and Farida, which I think that could really go somewhere. That could be a story worth telling. Yeah.
I will see if they will go get brunch together or something. Tatiana's charity. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they're in a place where usually it's kind of hard to leave, but Tatiana keeps seeing him in a slip out of there. So I
just ask her where the door is.
I do have a bone of contention, but I don't want to skip ahead in your recap here. So I'm gonna let you finish before I say.
Well,
the
I
thing
was
that
just
I'm
gonna say Tatiana's charity was the generous Genasi without borders, and their charity is about bringing feasts to people because she likes feasts.
And she's made half out of air. She's so tall though. Like she's yeah.
You can see everything if you got up on her shoulders.
You can see everything when you aren't on her shoulders.
Really?
Sorry. I'm constrained to a halfling eye view.
So, okay, first, Balov wanted us all to sign a contract, only it was all in Infernal, and I can read Infernal, but I can't read contracts. This is how you get your soul stolen, and I explicitly do not want to be stuck being a princess again, so I got Mott to read the contract. Mott's my imp. Well, okay, I guess he's less my imp and more Asmodeus' imp, but since I am technically chosen of Asmodeus, he does stuff for me, like read contracts. He said the word boilerplate a bunch, and then Briv asked for an amendment about chicken wings, and this is where Freely, you pointed out that if we died, it's Frida's job to come and rescue us, or chop Bayleth's head off, which would be very dramatic because, guys, they're like friends now. They went and got drinks the other day, but he's not her sister best friend, so she would do it. Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. I like Bailoth a lot too, but, I mean, it bees like that sometimes. Like if we all go down in here and die, they're like, revenge me. You're like, you have to. Because everybody I would have sent to get revenge was already there. Penelope probably would have, but there's a 50-50 chance at the last second if Bailoth really said he was sorry and cried, she'd let him go, but I figured Farida definitely would have been like...
If Farida and Penelope went on a buddy rescue mission together, do you think they would become best friends? And do you think Farida would make Penelope more vicious, or do you think Penelope would make Farida chiller?
This sounds like a buddy cop movie.
Yeah, because here's the thing: the bar to become Penelope's friend is pretty low.
I know. We're also best friends.
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, yeah. You. I mean, well, you by the part with the Tiamat, you weren't there for that part, but you've been like lots of stuff with her. So I feel like Penelope would mellow Farida out some. I think Farida would try to not like her, and you just can't help it. She's just like cute and fluffy, and you just can't be mean to her. I think
Farida would like her. I just think she would be like, but we have to go kill Bailoth. And Penelope would be like, Julie, no, he seems like he's sorry. And then eventually would Farida convince her to chop Bailoth's head off, or would Penelope convince Farida to have a tea party with Bailoth?
I think it would come down to Bailoth. If he got a little too sassy, she'd just turn into something big and eat him. Especially if he'd already killed me, because we got married. We've been on like a protracted honeymoon. Yeah. So.
Okay. So we went into the Black Pit.
That might be the sequel.
That's where I met Jazaka, who's a Marilyn security guard. She has 6 arms. Basically, everybody wanted to arm wrestle with her, but she really only wanted to wrestle with Tatiana. And I was kind of mad about that because while Tatiana, as established, is bigger than me, I'm real strong. I'm maybe stronger than her. But then I realized that I think Tossal was a code for something else. And I am a good fighter, but I am also a better wing woman. Unless you're Lorcan, which Kate pound sand.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Really, yeah. There was definitely some subtext taking place. But yeah, no, you're very, very strong and fearsome, Havilar. Yeah.
Especially now. Anyway.
Yeah, but we got to get to that part later.
So this is when Bailoth took us to the market stalls. There was a whole bunch of things, including someone selling horns like mine. That felt great because you don't sell princess horns. Probably, I think. Anyway, there's also a stall selling cupcake cakes, which Tatiana and Briv ate.
I've seen those princess buns that like kids get that are on the side of the heads. That's a thing.
That's basically the same, isn't it?
Well, no, your horns are way cooler than that, though. Yeah.
Okay, but there's also selling action figures like of a guy called War Duke, and this was somebody you knew.
I mean, I didn't know him. I just like heard of him because I had the action figures too. I mean, like it's War Duke. Like, how did you not? I mean. Mahin kept you guys on a pretty short leash if you never heard of War Duke.
I grew up in a village in the mountains that's not on maps because everybody there just wants to be left alone, except if you are born there as a baby and then you are like, I have to leave this place. It is the boringest place in the universe. And mostly the heroes you hear about are like Dragonborn heroes who do stuff like, kill dragons with swords made out of their father's thigh bone and stuff, which is cool, but we didn't have action figures. We had sticks.
It's very metal.
That is commitment. I was gonna say
it's hard to live up to.
I would have said my father's thigh bone was gonna be really short, but I recently found out my father's was Bahamut. So apparently,
your father's a dragon god. Yeah. Don't tell my father that. I don't think he will think that. He already thinks you might be a bad.
I don't want you hanging out with that Freely anymore. He's a bad influence on you.
Just from what I've heard of Mahin, I haven't had the opportunity to make his pleasure, but I felt even I realized I should keep that part in my heart box.
Basically, the first time we met, I came back and was like, guess what? I'm going to chop my arm off and get a clockwork arm like Freely's, because then you have an arm and then the arm has an arm and the arm can hold a sword, and that sounds great. And Mahen was like, what are you doing? You cannot hang out with that boy anymore. And I said, I'm an adult. You can't tell me what to do, but I don't think I should probably chop my arm off because I think Mahen might come kill you.
I would like the record to show that I too advised you against chopping off your arm to get the clockwork arm. I mean, it's sweet, but I mean,
blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I didn't do it. Okay, so anyway, that Wardu guy was actually there. He was down in the Black Pits fighting a bunch of children.
Yeah, that was weird.
I just want to point out none of those children had glaives, and it showed.
Yeah, no, those kids kind of got rolled up. That's true, actually.
Eric still would have died with a glaive.
I got the distinct impression that wasn't necessarily the fairest fight, though.
Yeah.
Like maybe somehow, and I don't know, this is weird, that maybe Baloth had somehow scripted the outcome. It was, I don't know.
That
though.
sounds like Baloth.
Yeah, I mean, or just a group of teenagers got dunked on by an iconic warrior.
Because you will notice there were Warduke action figures to sell, but not glaiveless children action figures to sell. So I'm going to point out, at this time, I thought Baloth had lied about the fighting, and he was just trying to get us to buy his junky souvenirs. But then stuff started happening down on the floor. There was like this red light that was pulsing and crackling, and a shrine thing appeared, and it opened up, and like a ton of skeletons and ghast and specters stuff started pouring out, screaming, "Vengeance for the Prince of the Undead!" And we were like, is this part of the show? But then when they said that, we realized Baloth didn't give Dorcas back his wand.
Womp womp. Yeah.
That explains why the Black Pits are getting attacked, and why the Raven Queen is getting a bunch of mopey unsigned poetry.
I mean, I feel like she was getting the mopey poetry even beforehand, but he probably quit signing it
Well,
once.
I feel like without the wand, he's not showing up because he doesn't feel as impressive.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the poetry has increased.
I mean, I wonder if that's why the Raven Queen got. We never figured out if he like gave her the wand, if she just took the wand, because she just showed up in that fight
That's
with Tiamat. And was like, "Hey,
true.
somebody want the wand of Orcus?" And Baloth was like, "Me." So yeah,
I
that's,
still think someone left something at someone's spooky castle. But like before, all she says is like, so I don't know.
yeah.
But anyway, that's when you fireballed all the undead. And we started running. And I was like, yes, let's go. Let's do this. There was like an undead Ed, and that attacked Briv. And there was like a skeleton chimera, and that attacked Freely. And there was like a zombie manticore, and that attacked me.
You were super cool in this one. I mean, you're super cool in all of them.
Listen, Freely, I'm going to need you to be honest with people, because I was not. This was not a good fight for me. You were great. I got attacked, and I did that thing that sometimes happens where like some fire bops out of me, and that was it. Everybody else was pretty cool. Minsk jumped on the Chimera's back, and he tried to chop its heads off with Lillicor, his insane sword. And then he wound up hanging off his back, and Tatiana turned into an air elemental and like did this whole whirlwind that just churned up all the skeletons. And you Eldritch blasted that shrine again, and then Dorcas showed up, except that he didn't show up. He couldn't, because the Black Pits like have all these words that keep them out. He wants the wand of Orcus, and Baloth is not giving it to him, and this is going to be a problem. I just know it. But I didn't actually do anything. I just ran.
I'm sure we've heard the last of it, honestly. Like, this is whatever unfinished business between Baloth and Orcus is never going to affect any of our lives ever again.
Maybe Baloth should send him a poem back and make it look like it's from the Raven Queen, and then Dorcas will be distracted.
Yeah, I feel like Baloth would just send him like a dirty limerick or something, and then like it's unchecked war across the plains again.
It's just going to say, do you know who's amazing? It's Baloth! Sign the Raven Queen!
Sign the Raven Queen!
Yeah, right. You should go fight in the Black Pits.
It's a very reasonable contract.
That's weird. This poem came with 2 free tickets to the Black Pits.
There is definitely a world where I could see Baloth tricks Orcus into thinking it's like a date where they have the VIP box, like the king and queen, and Orcus just shows up and it's an ambush. Right.
So Baloth did a bunch of announcing here. He made sure everybody knew about the charities, and then the actual fight started. And I was like, okay, I have time to redeem myself here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was there.
I didn't do anything, man. I ran and I jumped and I got hit. I am better than this.
I mean, running, jumping, and getting hit is like 80% of what we do.
You did 2 big eldritch blasts out of your eyeballs on the shrine, and you destroyed it.
I mean,
Let's just be real here.
Okay. I mean, okay. So like, monsters are pouring out, and there's just like this ominous object that is like blah blah blah, and the monsters didn't want anybody to get near it. So of course I decided to break it. I just was able to do it from
Because
like
you
a
were
ways off.
heroic. It was good. But the second time, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, I can teach you how to do that thing with the eyes if you can't do it already. It's very
I can
useful.
do it. I want to hit things with the glaive because it's the best weapon.
I mean, first of all, you've convinced me on the glaive. It is
All
unwieldy.
preschoolers agree.
It is unwieldy for my halfling form, although I am very tall for a halfling. But there's times, on occasion, hear me out, I know it's going to be weird even as I say it, that there's things that you want to hit that are out of arm's reach. And that is why you got Eldritch Blast.
Well,
Okay.
thank you for coming to Freely's TED Talk.
So this time it was that big old thing called the Nightmare Beast, which is nice because it's very easy to say. And there was like a bunch of giants, and there were some halflings right on the giant's shoulders, and they all had these creepy pointy teeth. And I was so frustrated about that first fight, and I didn't notice right away that it happened. So I was like standing there, and I looked up, and everybody was fighting. You threw a web on one of the giants and trapped it, but the halfling jumped off. And Tatiana slammed the Nightmare Beast, but then that Nightmare Beast thing zapped her with its eyeballs, and it kind of disintegrated her.
Yeah, that was like kind of problematic because we were like, yeah, hey, we're just having a good time putting on a show. And oh, Tatiana got blown in half. What? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there was probably some stuff in that contract that we maybe should have gotten more clarifications on. But anyway, we have the safety net of Farida blowing up Balof's head.
You know, that's something, you know? It's like we were just playing the game on hard mode. That's all it was.
Okay. Brim smited it, and Whittle attacked, and Minsk attacked the giant that threw a rock at him, and he was like going crazy. And I was like, dang, they're going to defeat it before I even do anything. So I ran up, and I showed everyone why the glaive is the best weapon. Smited the bananas out of it. Thank you, best friend of me.
See, okay, wait, hold on a second. Could you just repeat that last part? What happened, Havilar?
I smited the bananas out of it.
It was so cool, you guys. She's underselling it. She goes running in, right? And she's all just like teeth like, and it was
That was a really good reenactment. You should be an actor or something.
I literally was there. Yeah, well, I am a bard. I tell these stories.
Strikes pose.
Okay, so that was cool. I will give you that. But it meant that it did like this fear gas thing, and then I understood why it's called a Nightmare Beast. Because everybody just kept fighting, and I was like, well, it was like freaking all out. But I did have enough to notice the arena is like cracking up in all these weird glowing ways. Did you see that at that point? It happened a bunch, you guys.
Yeah, and every time it happened, I was sort of like, hey, you know, this isn't the first time I've been a place where reality started collapsing. Maybe does anybody, and nobody else seemed to care. So I was like, well, all right, I'm sure this is not going to affect us in any way whatsoever. That was incorrect.
Yeah, there's a lot more fighting here, but I was freaking out so much that I missed a lot of the details. But then Baloth floated down and made all the monsters go away because he can't replace them if we kill them all, and he doesn't like spending money. Anyway, at this point, I was very embarrassed because while I did get a hit in, I also was the only one that got fear gassed. But here, everyone was pretty beaten up, so Baloth was just forging ahead. He gave us our payment for fighting, which is in the form of Baloth bucks, which you can only spend at the Black Pits.
Yeah, that was tricky.
Puff showed up, and he showed us some of the merchandise Baloth was going to sell, like these miniatures of us fighting the Nightmare Beast, and I have to say, I noticed they made my face all scared, and I would like them to change that. Then they took us to the green room, which is a green room, which is magical. It heals us up, and it's also like a giant sandwich box you can live in because it just gives you whatever you want to eat. Brim thought we could use the room to summon orphans so we could feed them and give them weapons, but we decided against this because Baloth is not entirely good, and it might make orphans. Also, we're not sure if, like, for example, Orcus is an orphan, so we might get orphans we don't want to handle.
I don't know that large numbers of orphans should be entrusted to us. I mean, we could sculpt them into a very deadly fighting force. Ooh, we could build like a school for gifted orphans where we come
love
in. And then we could like. Never mind. Hang on. That's
This
probably
is later. This is later when we get the. Let's be honest. We are the doing team. We're not the planning team.
I did get put into my head, though, someone casting summon orphans in a preschool, and then all of a sudden Orcus is surrounded by a bunch of, like, 2-year-old children. He's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I was just playing music outside the Raven Queen's castle.
The problem is, like, the planners I hang around with, like Averin, I wouldn't necessarily entrust a large group of orphans to, and then Alindra would try and be explaining like advanced geometry and just bore those little kids to death. So we might not be the best. I mean, we might not be the worst option. Oh, or Kira would be great. Or Kira would give the orphans marshmallows. Okay, we go. To get the orphans to Kira.
Yes.
Right.
I like it. See, I said we weren't the planners, but I think actually you just demonstrated we're the great planners.
Havilar, we're incredible, okay? Yeah.
So I also looked at the contract again and discovered we may have signed up for indefinite servitude.
Yeah, we did.
So we left and we went down to the merchant stalls and people requested things, and Minsk had like a fit about video games. And whatever that is, you suck, video. You should have included Minsk. You hurt its feelings. You're on my list now. There were several booths to shop at. One was manned by Bailiff's cousin, who's named It, who is not a Gloober but it turns out his dad was a Gloober and that's why I got confused. Let's see. Freely, well,
because he was just like, here, this is my cousin, and then the dude was all like, and I was like, okay, that's.
People get adopted sometimes, but in this case, it wasn't adoption. It was having hanky-panky with demons. So,
okay.
Drow society is weird. We've established that several times.
Yeah.
This is where,
No, I was just going to say one doesn't like to judge, but the more I hear, every time I'm like, whoo, okay.
I think it's good Bailoff left. It's better for him. Freely bought a ring of regeneration. Minsk bargained for a belt of giant strength, which was but it was super expensive. So he did slay away, which is when you pay for a thing in pieces, like when you kill a monster by chopping it multiple times until it's dead.
Isn't that the only way we do it?
Well, sometimes it's just
sometimes it's a one-time neat payment.
It happens sometimes.
It's just the one. Yeah. So ring of regeneration. I was thinking that I realized, despite my prodigious halfling bulk, I'm can't necessarily take a lot of damage. So I was thinking ring of regeneration, so if I get like knocked out, I'll come back too. But then I remembered the way a ring of regeneration works is my old arm would have grown back, which there was a time I wanted that, but I'm kind of into the clockwork thing now. This is a thing I do and I'm used to it. And then if like a new arm just kind of came out and my arm was like bonk on the ground, and then I'd be like, ah! So I didn't put.
That would be upsetting. Can you if you had your arm back, could you put your clockwork arm and then you have 3 arms? Is that possible?
Okay.
Freely is having some realizations.
When we're done with this, I'm going to go try something.
Tatiana got like an eldritch tattoo, and Whittle bought a scroll from a Dwerger guy, and Brib wanted a fancy book, but instead he got a stone to float around his head. I bought a Pearl of Power so I could have some more smite slots. Elon Garak was selling those, and he congratulated me on my fight, but I think he was just being polite. But I figured that was okay, because I was going to be great in the next fight. Also bought a potion of growth. I was thinking that I would get really big and I would knock over the next monster, so it was stuck on its back. And they were so cheap, I bought 2, except I also found out 2 things. First, that those potions were made by the potion maker, who was like a big myconid, like juicing his head, which was gross. And
I had issues with the head juicing, yeah.
It was, that's really the only way to do that. Okay. And then the other thing is that Verita told me later you can't actually drink 2 potions of growth and get twice as big, which I would like to protest is stupid.
I agree.
So anyway, people were protesting about all the cracks, saying that all the magic was making the black pits unstable. And again, this feels like a problem for a different group, but Bailoff has us. So we decided that the best plan to help was to bust those cracks open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before we did that, there was a mega because we all got cool Black Pits costumes.
Okay, hold on. Now, I just want to say, even, you know what? No, you describe your Black Pit. I have an objection to the Black Pit's costume, but I'm going to wait till you say your part first. Yes.
Well, okay, so Tatiana and I decided that we should be like fighting best friend twinsies. So we got these cool costumes and these awesome bright colors so everybody would know where we were. And we had like these cool, like tight clothes though you could see our muscles. And we made a decoration that looks like a black rose and a glaive together. And I did like cool, I almost did it again today, you guys, with this cool like makeup. And my glaive was glowing green and I had like wristbands and boot warmers, and so did Tatiana. We looked fantastic. We were gorgeous ladies
you guys
fighting.
You guys did look so like incredible and fantastic and everything, and you like talked about that and worked all that out, but you didn't talk to me about that. Like I didn't even find out there was gonna be like a group costume. Like maybe I would have wanted to be like neon with like.
Sorry, your costume was really cool.
You had a matching costume with someone.
Well, well, okay, but here's the thing. Whittle and I did not discuss that at all. We just showed up with the same aesthetic.
So in other words, it was one of those like, well, one of us is gonna have to change. But then you saw Tatiana and Havilar matching, so you're like, okay, we're good.
That's exactly what it is. Like we just wore the same outfit to the dance. You know, like you guys had like complementary colors. Like we both. I get. You know, you tell them what we did. You tell them what we did.
Well, like Freely had this cool helmet with like this big plume and like red and green, like his hair, and like cool golden armor that showed off his muscles. It was very nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was very good. But Whittle's did kind of look similar, although her plume was now. Don't tell Whittle I said this, but her plume was not as good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. You know, well, but you know what I mean. She's so fast. She stay aerodynamic. She stay low into the ground.
True.
Like,
true.
But we look like pint-sized gladiators, and it was but very fearsome. Very fearsome.
Very cool.
I will say real quick. We're getting towards the later part of the episode. So we got about 10 minutes before we're checking in with the listeners real quick. Just want to give you a time check.
Skip ahead some stuff. Everybody had very cool outfits. There was a forest and it was full of werewolves, and they attacked Briv and then they ran off. And Freely went after some of them and he charmed them and Zerbert their bellies, so they didn't have to fight. They were just friendly.
I'm just saying, they were big old fluffy boys, and had anybody tried tummy Zerberts? It works way more often than you think, folks.
And then Minsk attacked the second group with Lilycore, who started freaking out because they really liked doing that. And I went after him, and I also attacked those werewolves. And this was satisfying because I did hit it a lot. But then there was something else. And the thing in the trees, it was a loogie root.
Dun, dun, dun.
It was the loogie root that changed Whittle when she was a loogie root. And his name was Nigel, and he was a jerk. And I don't have a good name for that, but we'll just call him Nigel the jerk.
I like it.
Tatiana summoned like a ton of badgers and then she also turned into a stegosaurus. The badgers just like swarmed on the loogie root. And while Minsk and I were busy chopping werewolves in halves and plus more pieces, Briv and the badgers were attacking the loogie root. And Whittle was like, wait, hey, I know that guy. And she went racing through the trees toward Nigel, but then Briv just chopped his head off and the badgers ate him. And that was the end.
That was true. Like, she very much was like, I'm going to have this dramatic moment of closure. And Briv was like, be a real shame if something were to happen to this guy. And just like that. But I'd like the record to show you kind of glossed over the fact that you were all incredible and you were chopping up werewolves and stuff. I was busy just having just like a cuddle puddle, but you were like,
you did like totally neutralize 3 werewolves on your own. And I did do a good job chopping those werewolves. It just happened behind some bushes. So literally nobody saw me and Minsk do that.
No, I mean,
which is how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, but that's okay. But like, you know what a great job you did, and I know what a great job you did because I know you, and you always do a great job.
That's true, but we haven't got to the third fight yet. Anyway, so I was feeling good, and I was ready for the last fight. But like I said, I was not really ready for the last fight. So we got another 50 Bailoff bucks, and there was more shopping. And I got. The important part is that Minsk got his belt of giant strength, and then Freely was like, what if you had one too? And I was like, oh, that does sound cool. And then I could be twinsies with 2 people. But the thing was, I traded that magic book I found in Mount Tiamat, the Atlas of Endless Horizons, that let me do teleportation stuff, to get that belt, because I thought the belt would be more useful. I got super strong, but then that meant I didn't have the book, and that's going to be kind of important later. So anyway, went in for the last fight. Bailoff got like maybe a little overexcited because then the Trask was the thing we had to fight.
Like, I was like, again, when it came out, like, how many times have I had to deal with this thing? Like I didn't even want to hurt it. It's not bad. It's just like
I'm
big
gonna
old.
gonna disagree.
It's like just
Gonna
like a big
disagree.
old chompy cricket. Like, I mean, it's like it's not mad at anybody. And the
I'm
last
gonna
time I saw
emphasize the chompy.
the last time I saw the Trask, I managed to like charm Monster on it, and we were just like best friends. And then I saw it again, and I was like, "Hey, do you remember me?" And I saw this documentary where this guy has this like clicky thing, and he would come out in front of very dangerous creatures, and he'd be like, "Clicky, clicky, clicky, clicky. Are we still friends?" The Trask was not still friends. It wasn't.
The clicky didn't work.
Just imagine Freely trying to do
And
the
you-
Jurassic World Velociraptor thing with the Trask.
I'm
And this-
glad. I'm glad
Sorry,
you
go
came
ahead.
with me on this one. No, that's all. Mhm.
Just to be clear, Trask, if you don't know what Trask is, it's basically walking apocalypse. It's like immune to almost everything. And also, if someone sets up these like doodads that are going to shoot magic missiles everywhere, they're going to bounce off of the Trask. And guess what Bela thought would be a cool idea?
Yeah, he sort of like created a Tarrasque disco ball of death that I know sounds excellent to just say until you're in it, and then it isn't much fun at all
Not.
because you're like, here's this world-ending apocalyptic beast and also artillery. Oh, okay, thanks. Right.
Yeah. So anyway, this thing's really dangerous. It's got claws, it's got a big tail, it's got teeth, and it turns out that you can't hide from the teeth because I thought I was attacking it somewhere it couldn't get to me, but it did. It chomped me and then it swallowed me. So I missed a lot of this fight because I was inside the Trask, dying. And Briv had to dive in and save me, which he did admirably at. He made a little shell around us with his metal. But the problem was that I was already really beat up when it ate me and I passed out. So I don't actually know what a lot of the stuff happened. I was busy being, it wasn't a princess in a tower exactly, because a Tarrasque's stomach is not as luxuriously appointed as a tower.
I feel like Warrior in a Stomach still works. Like, it's like a cooler version of it.
I'm here to tell you there is no shame whatsoever in being swallowed by the Tarrasque. It is an ender of worlds. And hey, you made it out. You're still here to talk about it.
You didn't get swallowed? I was the only person that got swallowed, guys. It was not the triumphant return I was hoping for.
You're like a mouthful. You know what I mean? Like, because you were like down in there, and it's like it didn't have any room for anybody else. You took that one for the team. That's how that happened. And you freed up the rest of us to be like,
well, that's the thing. Everybody did a good job attacking this, although it also did a very good job attacking everybody else. And meanwhile, the whole place was coming down. Those cracks were getting worse. Will took a staff of the Magi, I heard later, and she stuck it in the Tarrasque, in the backside of the Tarrasque.
Oh, geez.
And she made it explode, which sent her blasted back, I guess, to, I don't know where she went.
Yeah, we gotta
just
go
wasn't there.
We gotta go look for her later. I mean, she always ends up back in Barovia, so Penelope and I will just like gas up the old flying castle in the sky and just jump over there and just like take a little peek-see.
Yeah, as you do.
So anyway, like everything was falling apart, and also the Trask, and also the magic missile disco balls. And I think finally Baloth realized that maybe he had gone too far, because he summoned Najim, and Najim did a wish. He did a wish to save me and Briv, to pull us out of there. And I was like, and I got back some hit points because fortunately the wish was not too stingy. I got back some life and I stood up again and I was like, okay, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to drink these potions and I'm going to get real big and I'm going to push the Tarrasque over on its back and I'm going to smite it. And none of that happened, guys. None of it happened because Briv attacked.
Happened up here, though.
Yeah, Briv attacked it, and I don't. Did he kill it? I was seeing double at that point.
Or
did Baloth make it go back to its?
Well, no. I hit it pretty hard repeatedly.
That's right. I forgot. You told me later.
Well, but I didn't actually want to hurt it. Like I was friends with Tarrasque, and then Briv took a bag and put the bag in another bag and then dropped the two bags on it, and there was a big.
He did that thing, and I was like, "Don't do it," because the last time we did that, all of reality disappeared.
Yeah, I was like, "Please don't, please don't, please don't," and then he did, but it worked out okay this time.
Yeah, I guess the Tarrasque being so tough means that when it ate the reality destroying bag, it just destroyed the Tarrasque. or sent it somewhere. Hopefully
I mean-
it didn't go to Barovia with Whittle.
That would be bad.
Hope, yeah, well, I mean, I hope it didn't destroy it because again, the Taras, she's not bad. It's not bad. Like I mean, right now, I'm 1-1 with Taras wrangling. You know, I'm 1-1. Those aren't bad odds. Yeah.
Just got to do it again. I might come with you because I feel like I need a rematch. So at the end of all this, Briv got declared, I guess, the winner. It was confusing what was going on, but he got that book he wanted from Bailoff, and I made Bailoff promise me that I get to do a rematch. But I'm wondering now if maybe the answer is actually that I should go and just explore the world a little and figure myself out. And maybe I should go spend some time with my boyfriend because you seem to be having a good time with Penelope. And like, I never see him with all this monster fighting stuff. We could go fight monsters together. He's not such a slouch.
You know,
And he really likes when I'm a cool fighter. And it's, I like
First of all, hey, we all like when you're a cool fighter. All of us do. Yeah, no, like Storm Herald, it's literally a castle. Plenty of room, you know, because it's just me and Penelope on that thing right now. You guys could ride with us. You could have like a wing. We could go all over creation, reality, go anywhere you want. Fight whatever you want.
I like that.
Yeah.
And that's lower pressure too. Like if we are fighting and it's just the four of us, that's not as much as a whole audience watching. So
You know, we just got to make sure we tell Farida where we're going this time. Otherwise, she's going to launch a whole different rescue mission, and it's going to turn out we're okay.
I don't want her to freak out.
Yeah, no, we can leave like
or
right
go
after this.
think that Bailoff did get us murdered and blow his head up.
That would be a shame if Bailoff got killed and we just left.
Don't tell Bailoff this, but at the moment, I would not mind if his head blew up a little bit.
just
but
like a
not
portion. Just
his
a
head
little
is his head's already so big though. But I know what you.
True. We'll cast the reduce spell on his head.
Just reduce.
Yeah,
ego.
like
Reduce
like
ego, exactly.
Like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's what happened. Oh,
Yay.
the Black Pit.
Yay! Thank you, Havilar.
Mm-hmm.
Always a joy to hear about your adventures in Idle Champions Presents. Okay, we're gonna shoot through some of these questions real quick here at the end. Obo Lauren said, "I survived the Black Pits and all I got was this T-shirt." I think this is Sudian. Says in quotes, Havilar in conversation. In conversation with the Black Raven Queen when. That could be interesting. Lurking Rider said,
do we get pizza or?
Lurking Rider said, question, the Black Pits is a bit like WrestleMania. What scene would you each have chosen to have displayed on your characters? Titantron. So like your intro, what would be the thing that would play above you as you were walking into the WrestleMania?
Yeah. My one regret is I was looking all over the place because I was like, if I could just find like a stool that was made out of metal or like a table or something, if I would find like a metal stool and be like,
if Freely had cast Smite on a folding chair, that would have been the best moment of my life.
We need to get some folding chairs down there. That's what I'm saying. Bailoff is supposed to be this great promoter. Yeah, and
I actually
could have been like, Havilar, get the table, and he's like, what table? You know, it's
I actually did
You
have
could
a
have climbed
kid
up
at
on
the.
Tatiana and done that.
Oh God, yeah. I actually did have a kid at the old bookstore games that actually was like, no, my weapon is a folding chair. I'm a barbarian. I'm like, yeah, I'll allow it. So what scene from your character's past would you have had playing above you for your intro?
Oh, that time I chopped off one of Tiamat's heads.
Heck yes.
I would say that time that I went toe to toe with Asmodeus and he couldn't even touch me because I was like,
I fully endorse both of these,
especially because the Tarask was there.
J-Mick Unyielding says, question, not all previous episodes of Champions Lore are up/available to watch on YouTube, and notably we're missing a couple of Havilar recaps. Can we see the rest of them get up at some point? So we are actually working on our YouTube right now. Actually, Mars is spearheading that, and so we're working on getting all those up there. But also, rumor has it, there is a podcast version of this show that I talk about at the end of every episode, so there's also that possibly that you could go listen to. Okay, and then let's see. Mattboy 112 says, how do I get the free Bailoth? I believe that was talked about in the chat while we were talking about as long as you are on Epic Game Store, there is a free giveaway right now, and so if you log in there, you will get all of those things. And to get Bailoth specifically, he is in slot 4. You just click the little arrow things in the top corner of the portrait, and you can switch out to him. This is our Green Paradox, Havilar prequel series, Cradle to the Glaive. I love it a lot.
I will say this: the tone is different than the Havilar recaps by a I don't know. It's the story of how Havilar gets her glaive is in Ashes of the Tyrant. It is poignant as heck.
Yeah. Cassius 335 question: Can we get Garlock in an ICP at some point, even if he's not in Idle Champions at that stage? Champions of Lore has a set to complete. After all, maybe, I don't know. I'm not in charge of those things. Cast335 comes back and says, question, so Orcus is trying to date the Raven Queen. Meanwhile, Tiamat is getting offers from Taylor Swift. Anyone else think the Raven Queen might be feeling slightly shortchanged? I mean, maybe.
I think she could do better.
But
But she's so married to her work.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. Obalor has the last one. If you ask Orkira, will resurrect everyone, and then you can go get your own revenge. Any last thoughts about the Black Pits before we end this one?
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was bananas, and Havilar was far more fearsome than the recap would seem to imply.
She did do good. It's always disappointing when you have like I don't know. It can be really fun when you have a plan and then it doesn't work out because of the dice or whatever. It is only my disappointment is only in the I've gotten to do this a bunch of times and there's lots of wonderful people, and so I think this might be the last time for a while that I play Havilar, and so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do really good, and then it was like, you don't though, because
dice,
because the Tarask.
I didn't roll enough dice at the end because Freely's obscene, but he would have felt really guilty if he'd killed the Tarask, so it worked out fine anyway. Yep.
That's fantastic. And go ahead.
This is a very small thing. When I was watching it again, I noticed, so in the second part, I had serious problems with my computer. And so I came back on and I was out of sync by 20 seconds with everybody. So I'm very quiet and it's mostly because I can't tell what's going on.
Oh no.
Exactly. But it's not too long. I was just like, man, I look like I am just totally checked out. I'm actually frantically going,
please work. Yeah.
Get everybody's skins, add them to your formation. They all look super
yes,
cool.
They're so good.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Those are available now in the in-game store. I did check. Lauren was fantastic and got ICP Idle Champions Presents Black Pits episode 3 up on YouTube, so it's live right now. You can go watch all 3 episodes whenever you want, and so they will be there on our Idle Champions YouTube channel. But I think that is a good place to wrap up this week's episode, friends.
There's an event also.
Yes, that's true. Sorry, I did forget to mention
that is my
6 minutes from now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Midsummer is going to start in game, and Valentine from Black Dice Society is going to be available to unlock. Which one there? There it is.
The recap for a reason, guys.
Which for anybody keeping score, that means Tatiana, Nahara, Desmond, and Valentine are all in Idle Champions now. There you go.
Interesting. So you can unlock Valentine in just about 6 minutes in Idle Champions and add her to your formation and fight alongside the other Black Dice Society characters. So
maybe she and Frida are going to be friends.
Yeah. So where can people find you and what awesome things you working on, y'all?
So you can find me on Twitter at Erin M. Evans. You can watch me on Wednesdays. This Wednesday. So I have a couple things to tell you guys about. I'm going to try to do it, but it's not the order I usually say. So tonight at 6:00 p.m. is the finale of book 3 of Dungeon Scrawlers. We are going to go after the Golden Raven once and for all. And as a very special giveaway. We like to do a lot of giveaways, particularly of books, because we are a writer's stream. So we love introducing people to new books. And because this is our big finale, we are going to give away a copy of the advanced reader's copy of Empire of Exiles.
That's
we're giving
awesome.
away one during the stream, and then we're giving away one on our Discord.
I haven't even read the advanced reader copy yet, and I just bought it.
It doesn't come out till November, so you get a cool sneak peek. So if that's something that you're interested in, I hope it is, you can pop in the stream and hit in the enter command and be entered to win one. Or if you're like, I can't do that tonight, I'm going to watch it later, join our Discord and you can enter in the giveaways channel.
Can I enter, or is it one of those things where like friends and family can't participate?
I was about to ask.
I think that's fine.
Duly
It is open to everybody. We are going to pay for the shipping because I'm really excited. And if I can't have certain perks about having my own channel, then why am I doing this? The other thing, I'm not going to be here next week or the week after because I'm going to be at Gen Con. I'm going to post I promise. I'm going to post my schedule on Twitter today. Keep not getting around to it, but I need to do it now. So if you're going to be at Gen Con, you can come say hi. I'm going to be doing stuff with the Writer Symposium. So we'll be over there.
Yeah.
Tonight, Legends of the Multiverse 5. Thursdays, usually Black Dice Society, but not this week because I'm going to be at Comic-Con. I'm going to be all over the place. I too need to post my Comic-Con schedule. And I'll be at Gen Con, but I will be here next week because I'm not flying out till that Thursday. So yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Follow me on the Tweetagrams at @BDaveWalters and watch the Black Pits because it's kind of incredible.
Absolutely. You can follow me on Twitter at the Treavor. There's an A hiding in there, and you can find me anywhere the Idle Champions community is because I'm the community manager. That's where I'll be. Thank you to Jordan and Martin for moderating the chat today and doing a fantastic job, and thank you to Lauren for producing, and thank you to Codename Entertainment for just letting us have some fun, talk about some D&D. If you missed any part of the show, you can catch it later as a podcast on your favorite podcast service. And I think, we have everything's normal for the rest of the week schedule-wise. And like I said, Midsummer is starting in 3 minutes, so you can hop into Idle Champions, unlock Valentine, and add her to your formation. But that is going to do it for this week's episode. So until next week, Champions out.